Doing great. All right. Well, it's 5:32. Yes, we can kick it off. Welcome to this edition of LinksDAO updates. Appreciate y'all being here. It's an exciting day, exciting Sunday around the world of sports, and we hope to add to that. If you have not yet noticed, the LinksDAO Pro Shop is open. Huge, awesome effort between our partnerships pod developers, the folks at Spotify, to set up something really, really cool, really special. We've got some incredible member discounts in there from brands like Holderness and Born. I think the average discount for LinksDAO members in the token gated site is like 35%. Really incredible stuff. Shout out to the design team, Patrick, for getting those logos looking so fresh. Really awesome reception so far this week for the members sections of the site, and it's just been awesome to see how fast this team has moved to execute and make that pro shop come to life, especially with such events like South by Southwest going off, which I don't know if everybody on the Spaces knows was an awesome time, great success. Seeing everybody in real life was really cool. But now we've got the pro shop open, we've got merchandise available. Check out the link in the LinksDAO Twitter bio to check that out. And there's an additional benefit to that I want to point out to everyone here on the call. There's another tweet pinned at the top that we're about to hit 30,000 followers on Twitter. So that's a huge milestone. So appreciative for all the support we've had on the Bird app. But to celebrate that, we tried out and loved the Callaway Rogue driver, the new Callaway Rogue. Steph Curry just tweeted about it, actually. It's an awesome club. And we wanted to give out 4 of those to members or people who retweet the tweet, follow the account, and place an order at the LinksDAO Pro Shop. So that's like a $550 value, and we're giving out 4 of those. So just really so appreciative and wanted to say thank you and give back to our friends on Twitter. Your support means everything in this experiment. So really appreciate that. I want to say what's up, Mike. Thanks for popping in. How's it going?
It's going very well. Happy Saturday. Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Yeah. So with that in mind, I can probably get a current update. I think Mr. Senor just popped up the recent vote. We had 1 vote since he mentioned that. Where are we with Proposal 7 right now?
With around 25 minutes left to go, 971 votes. Currently, it's at 85.68% yes and 13% no, with 1%, roughly 1% abstaining.
Awesome. Really, really cool.
Yeah, and Coop, can I just chime in real quick? Thanks to everybody in the spaces that voted. It's a very important moment for our project in that we have so many people that are contributing every day. They're spending their time that they're not working in the Discord. They're coming up with concepts. They're coming up with ways to move this project forward quickly. They're coming up with events. They're coming up with different ideas. And this proposal basically is what is going to create a community where when you contribute, you can get back. And so it's super important in our mission in terms of kind of making golf more egalitarian and democratic. So thanks for everybody for voting, for making your voices heard. And we're excited to move forward, assuming that's what happens in the next 25 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just to resonate with that, it's been such an awesome experience from, the first day in the Discord for me, that first Google document that opened up that I think Mike tweeted recently, a memory of that this has been such a collaborative and community effort from day one, where people have been so passionate about the project and chipping in with ideas and conversations, and then more recently putting in hard work and sweat to make things happen for this on our mission to accomplish a golf course, to acquire and open a golf course. Right? It's there's a lot more than that, because the time frame for opening a golf course, while we're hard at work at doing that, we have this awesome membership, this awesome community with great ideas about how to connect and build what golf means both online and offline. So from things like expanding the LinksDAO brand with marketing to IRL events to partnerships and benefits, that the list just keeps growing. It's such an awesome team here that's working together, and I'm so excited to see that this proposal is about to pass, so we can really strap a turbocharger to this already existing rocket ship that we've got going on. So really, really exciting stuff. Yeah.
Hey, so Coop, where do you want to go from? Excuse me, from here?
Yeah, absolutely. So, where do we go from here? That's a good question, right? Like, so what does it look like next for LinksDAO as this proposal passes? We've got this community team. Like, what are the priorities? Like, Mr. Senior, do you have anything on that? Like, what happens next?
Yeah, so I think if you there's a couple high level things that I would share, and I think that before I even say this, one of the major milestones coming up is what you'll see in the Discord referred to as Pods M2. So let's talk really quickly about that. Ultimately, from the beginning, people in the Discord and the chat have been saying, like, I'd like to get involved. I'd really like to contribute. And that's been a pretty hard process to date. You basically have had to tag a mod or tag Cooper or tag me or tag Dudis or tag anyone that you can find. And then like get into DMs, which, can always be kind of sketchy anyway, because we all know about Discord, and then you have to talk to someone and you have to get roles added to it, and you have to, all that kind of stuff. We want to do this much more scalably and much more easily. So our track now is towards what we call Pods M2, in which any member will be able to see the pod channels. Those will, when we launch, those will display. And there'll be a welcome channel that explains what the pod is doing, what the pod's mission is. There'll be an announcements page for that pod, and then there'll be what we call the T box for that pod. And so that will be the onboarding area. Each pod will use that to sort of engage for feedback and throw ideas, and we talk about projects that are upcoming and people wanting to contribute. But then it'll also be a place for you to share, like, hey, I'm really interested in accounting, or I'm really interested in operations, and I'd love to be able to get involved. And so all of those pods that we outlined in the proposal will each have that structure in Discord and make it really easy to be able to pop in and start contributing, or at least just follow along if contribution ain't your thing. And so that's what we're really driving towards now that this proposal is in place. And as Jim said, we can equitably reward contributors based upon the work that they do, which is fundamental to, in my opinion, to a healthy DAO. We want to build the best organized DAO, speaking purely from an operations perspective. This is a major milestone towards that, but a lot of work to do within this pod structure. So, as far as some upcoming milestones, we'll onboard the pod leaders to sort of clear expectations, and we know from feedback in the RFC that people really want to see clear goals. We'll be delivering OKRs for the pods. Those will look different for each pod. Some might be numbers based, some might be milestones based, but each will provide a focus and the ability to see the progress that each pod is making and make sure that we're on track. We'll also be launching a couple P0 tools that are going to help us scale. Right now, pretty much everything is in Google Docs, and so making sure that we're able to not only get much more organized to deliver more quickly, but also be able to scale to more people. We're going to institute some project management software. We're going to also tie in contribution management so that we can really clearly go from sort of the proposal showing what the reward is for a project all the way through tracking, fairly people's contributions on that project through payout on chain. So even if you're not contributing, you'll be able to see kind of end to end how that's going. And then we won't have to have the sort of very manual overhead that we have now of keeping track of all this stuff in various docs. We'll also be focusing on like security. And so we'll make sure that we have access controls in place. We'll be writing something that like in a corporate world would be like an IT policy. For us, it'll be a sort of a tooling management policy to make sure that we can, have people easily get onto the tool, but also, if people leave and we need to take access away, then we can do that very securely to keep everything safe. And then the social and partnerships team also sorely need platforms in place for them to be able to scale our social presence. As we mentioned earlier, it's 30,000 followers on Twitter, but we also want to make inroads in other social platforms. So having social tooling will go a long way towards that. And then also the partnerships team is currently, doing inbound and outbound on a bunch of different partnerships, which I think people are talking about later. We need tools for that, right? Because the more time that we spend trying to keep track of a bunch of stuff manually, the slower we are at delivering value. And so a great run organization means having the systems in place for us to, I think, as Coop said, turbocharge. So those are going to be some immediate priorities. Then, lastly, one of the things we've also talked about in the chat is, this is our seventh proposal, but, still very early and wanting to build out a much more robust proposal structure that sort of starts with ideas in the Discord, gets into potentially better discussion software so that we can do sort of temperature checks and stewardship reviews, and then go to RFC so that people really understand what's happening in the proposal and people aren't confused, and then get it to Snapchat for a vote. So those are some of the major priorities. We'll release an updated roadmap for just sort of DAO ops and pods this month. We'll get the group together and document all of that and make it much cleaner for people to understand where we're going, as we make it much easier for people to get involved. But in the meantime, if you want to get involved in a pod, you can certainly still do so in the manual way we have now. Just reach out and we'll figure out how to get you involved. People have done that last couple of days and it still works. It'll just be a lot better and easier in the future.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that rundown. It's really, really cool. The new pod system, members in Discord will be able to opt in, and have that transparency, like you said, probably, beginning of April. So stoked about that. Now, let's say you hate Discord, like some people do. What are we talking about in terms of the website? What plans do we have there?
Yeah, it's a great. Oh, sorry, that was for Senior Hill. Sorry.
You can go, Judas. You want?
Take it away.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go into a ton of detail. I just actually wanted to catch up on a couple things that I think are important to say, because I know we have some folks listening who are members and who voted. And then I'll really high level answer the website question and let Mr. Senior Hill dive in a little deeper, because he's project managing that. But I was just really, really thrilled over the past 3 days with the discussion, in the community. It seemed like more than 100, maybe a few hundred members, asking really good questions, and caring about, how we spend our resources, how we organize as a community, into the 12 pods, what they mean. And I think the membership really surfaced a number of critical questions that any DAO would face, especially one moving as fast as ours is, with 5,300 holders, and just the volume and the pace of what we're trying to accomplish here, and the substance of what we've done in terms of events, in terms of already launching a merch shop, and in terms of moving towards purchasing a golf course while we're self-organizing internally. So anyway, I thought there was a really good balance of folks, asking for a level of diligence and transparency and budget planning in terms of how money is being spent. But when we explained to folks that we're not going to have a Fortune 500 established company level of rigor to our budgeting 3 months into a transparent, build from the ground, open project, people really did understand, and they said, we're really, really complimentary at the work that the team has done to date, basically volunteering time. Some of the best people in the world, like Senior Hill, Cooper, and the other folks up here, who have professional careers of great accomplishment and are basically contributing, learning, giving, because they love the mission here. So anyway, I thought there was a really good balance in terms of people saying, hey, look, we're putting a reasonable amount of money out here, up to $800,000 total for pod expenses and project expenses. And we expect a high level of, again, visibility, transparency, and accountability. And we understand that you haven't written a 30-page business plan proposal here for how that's going to be spent. But by the way, you folks have delivered LinksDAO community team over the past 3 months. And so, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt, but also we believe in you and we want you to be motivated. So that's the sort of takeaway I had from the discussion. There was an overwhelming level of support we saw in the vote, which is about to close, that I think, is 83% plus, for the high level budget that's been established for people to contribute and across all functions. At the same time, really, really good feedback. And the biggest one was, hey, we need to make the information that we as core contributors and as pod leaders and pods ourselves, we need to make that information more readily available to the community. It's like, we know how much work is being done. We know the challenges, the pros, the cons. But if we don't organize that, and by the way, the reason it hasn't been organized is, again, the amount of work that's been done and the pace, and we've valued delivery for sure over full documentation. But we have the right people in place, and folks started to show that over the past couple of days. We do have really good documentation. It just hasn't been brought to the forefront. And so, the next phase is, all right, great. We have a pod structure that's been put in place. We have the budget to support, not only the key leadership, but all the other folks who will contribute on a project basis. And now, let's go deploy that in benefit and service of the community against the mission, so that we can go buy our first golf course this year and launch it by early next year. And so that gets to the website. Obviously today, that website still looks like the one that we launched back in sort of December, early January. And so we'll be updating that significantly, so that both for the public, there will be a high level amount of information about what we're doing with LinksDAO. But for members, there will be a place where they can log in and get a much more tailored, detailed, member experience and set of information in the coming months about project objectives, benefits for them, and roadmap. So I'll kick it over to Mr. Senior Hill.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I mean, that's spot on. I mean, there's two major surface areas you want to solve for very quickly. One is, to Mike's point, a public-facing website that's not only refreshed to our new brand guidelines. Shout out to Patrick for putting that stuff together. Like, the site, our brand looks different now, and we want our public-facing identity to match that sort of internal excellence. I think a lot of you all saw that in South by Southwest, or you've seen on social, but we want to make sure the site reflects that. Number two, we have a lot of sort of people wanting to learn more about the community and about the project, and we need to have a much more robust place for people to learn more. That means some people might be but going on to OpenSea and looking at buying the NFT, and then they need to see a very trustworthy site. Not that the site isn't now, but it just, a lot has happened. We want to make sure that it's fresh. We want to make sure that it clearly outlines the value that NFT members can have. And then also, signaling sort of to brands and partnerships, right? So we want to have, a robust, beautiful site that we can show to the public. And that's something that'll we'll be working on. We started working on now, and we'll be rolling out soon, and we'll keep you updated. Second thing then, that Mike said was the internal site that we'll be calling the Clubhouse. This will be a place for all NFT holders to be able to authenticate. The experience itself will be sort of customized based upon the NFTs that you hold. So if you think about things like benefits, a lot of people in the Discord, almost every day, and this is totally our fault. People in the Discord are like, what are the benefits again that I can get for being a member? And it's, in a sheet or in a channel, but when we add new ones, that might not always get updated because it's all manual. So we want to have a single place that you can not only go in and see specifically what benefits match your NFT membership, but also be able to then understand how to use those benefits. So some of those will be IRL, so you'll be able to sort of walk through the process of activating them, or some of them that are digital, you can just sort of easily use them through the site. So that's one major use case for the Clubhouse. Another one is we want to make it, really easy for community members who opt in. This will be optional, but we want community members to opt in to sort of a member directory so they can more easily meet each other or sort of know who people are. Over time, that'll be a place that, folks can connect. There's a whole bunch of use cases that are interesting in the future for that, but we want to make it easy for sort of members to know members. because this community not only is a place where people go in and vibe, in the Discord, but also could be a place where you find your next job, or could be a place where, you meet friends and meet up with them and play golf. So that's another major part. And then lastly, like announcements and just sort of source of truth, as Mike said, a lot of the stuff that we have now still lives in Google Docs or in Discord channels. We need to get really tight on announcements and sort of where proposals are and how you can inform yourself on objectives and sort of where the DAO is going, kind of who the community leaders are and how you can get involved. We want to make that really, really easy for members. And we want that sort of to be the hub for members to be able to go and do those things. So that's the clubhouse. We're really close. Shout out to Curtis, who's just been crushing it on it. I mean, it's great. And I can't wait to see it live. I can't wait to use it. And then from there, we'll be able to kind of post first launch. We'll be able to add in a ton of value for members in that site, including access to the merch store and including potential things like peer-to-peer reciprocity. It's a huge part of sort of what we're building out for the course of the next, years. And I can't wait to have it live.
Absolutely. That's going to be a really cool aspect of the website. More member connection, without Discord is going to be huge. And accessing all of those wallet holders and being able to have, ways to communicate updates and all of those benefits and ways to access them. Really, really exciting stuff. And, along with the plan we have for reciprocity and member connections, it's just another awesome tool in this community's toolbox that really excited to, develop with this. But I wanted to turn it over to Jim and get your thoughts, feelings on Proposal 7. Anything else you want to talk about here today? Update the community on, how's everything going?
Yeah, Coop, it's been an amazing journey because so Mike and I, like, again, we're good buddies. We go way back, and we want this project to move really fast. I don't think that we necessarily thought it would move as fast as it has. And the primary reason for that is because of community involvement and basically people raising their hands and wanting to get involved. Like, Coop, you're a perfect example of that. Like, you were early days, basically, coming on board, organizing a Discord, like, just from the community. Mr. Senior Hill, again, great example, like, guy that crushes it in his professional life, like coming on board and project managing things. Greg Egan, another great example of somebody that came on board and like made a huge difference. Dom, and it's just basically there's like countless number of people that have basically contributed to this project and then really become kind of part of the core contributor team. And the great thing about this project is that will continue to evolve and change. And as more people want to get involved, like, more people will make a big impact. So I think this Proposal 7 is an important step in that direction. So it's not just, hey, this is theoretical because we love the project. It's is real, and it's something that you can really be acknowledged for giving back. So I think that's really that's been something that's amazing. I also very much agree with a lot of what people have said when Mike and Mr. Senior Hill and yourself, where we've done a lot and we've accomplished a lot in being one of the first scalable NFT projects that's tying real world benefits to NFT ownership, but we don't really have a very good central location where you can see what all those benefits are. Because we have 5iron, we have Shipsticks, we have Devro, Minimal, we have the discounts on the LinksDAO Pro Shop, we have DraftKings, Supreme Golf, Foray, My Photo, PGA Tour Book giveaways. Like, there's just so many benefits that all of our members can take advantage of, that we need to make sure that is in kind of a central repository that people can reference. There's one that we're going to be able to announce really soon. I think Bez kind of teased at this on our last call. It's one of the biggest companies in golf. The CEO has been personally involved in wanting to partner with our project. The only reason I can't be express about it is because there's going to be a lot of PR that this large golf company wants to do around being kind of one of the launch partners of LinksDAO. And I'm saying this because, one, everybody on this spaces that has the NFT, you're going to get some pretty amazing benefits from this company that are just frankly unavailable anywhere else, even the biggest retailers. And two, just to show that what we've all collectively built to this point is like, it's really made a big splash in the world of golf. And, you know, well, our main goal, and I'm going to get into this in 1 second after this, is to buy a golf club and open up a network of golf clubs and kind of become the next generation world's greatest golf and leisure club. It's really been amazing to see how the traditional golf community sees this type of project as the future as well, like a community built brand and experience. So I just think that's really exciting. One of the questions that we continuously hear about in the Discord, and like rightfully so, is, okay, well, what's the update on kind of golf course? Like, when are we going to actually get the golf course? Where's it going to be? So on and so forth. So after we dropped the NFTs and this project really, you know, took a foothold and had a good foundation, myself and Bez have done a lot of work in the last few months to determine what are the great architects, what are the good management companies, kind of what is the...
Is anybody else having trouble hearing Jim, by the way? Hey, Jim, I think you might need to walk somewhere with a better signal.
Yeah, or maybe we can bump you down to listener and then back up. It cutting out a little bit, and you're saying some really important stuff that I want to make sure everybody hears.
Okay. Can you guys hear me now?
That sounded better, yeah.
Okay, cool. And if I break up again, just let me know. So essentially, if you're going to be buying a golf course, there's a lot of things that you need to take into account. Obviously, the asset you're going to be buying, how you're going to be financing it, what the maintenance costs are after purchase, the architect you're going to use, how you're going to manage it. It's basically it's a relatively complex thing, as all of you could probably assume. So over the last few months, this has really been about information gathering and conversations with not only management companies, but the world's best architects, folks that own golf courses. We've had a number of conversations with the association of golf course owners up to this point. So we can really get a great understanding.
Jim, I'm sorry to cut you off again. We're still having trouble hearing you on just a couple words.
All right, guys. Listen, I'm gonna drop off for 1 second. I'm gonna come back from a different place. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Try to get those technical issues. Good old Rug Radio.
Our golf club
Twitter
has
Spaces.
much better internet than Jim currently does.
Absolutely facts. Gotta have that high speed.
It's gonna have that 5 gig upload download. That's right.
Absolutely, definitely, and on every tee box as well, for sure. You know, you got to be able to live stream each tee shot.
I also heard next to the water there will be a keg at each hole. I don't know. I can't make any promises, but I heard someone say that. It might have been me that said that.
I haven't heard that one yet. Amazing. Yeah, so we're gonna work on Jim's rejoining now. Let's see what happens. Get that going. Let's see. Here we go. Hey, Jim, do we have you back?
We do. How's my Altice Wi-Fi?
Much better.
Sounds much better, right?
Okay. All right. Great. Sorry, guys. So what I was saying is basically Bez and I have been spending an inordinate amount of time information gathering on all of the areas that you need to be proficient in order to purchase and operate a golf course, like a world-class golf course. Because the thing about this project is we don't just want to, like, we could go out and we could buy a downtrodden track. We can put a little bit of money into it and it'll be an average experience. But what we want for this community is one of the world's greatest golf course experiences that ultimately we can be hosting majors in the future, right? This is the type of place we want to build for all of you. So we've been working hard to determine the things we need to do to get to that point. And the current status of the golf course is basically there's 2 places that we're leaning into right now. One, we've had the question of build versus buy and renovate. What we've come up with to this point is if we wanted to build something from scratch, because I think as the second or third golf course, this would really be amazing. it's anywhere from a 3 to 8 year journey between purchasing the physical land asset, clearing, getting the permits, getting the architect, building it, so on and so forth. So we think that building the golf course is not the right thing, because I think all of us collectively want to get something online as quickly as is practically possible. So the way we're leaning now is to buy a good track with good bones, potentially from a good architect, work with one of the leading architects in the space, and we've spoken with so many of them, as we've discussed on many spaces in the past. So we can really develop a world-class experience and get it online. Again, this is a very aggressive timeline, but this is the one that we are focused on right now in the first half of next year. And the second place that we're leaning into are partnering with the best companies that can help us to get there in the fastest way possible. And that's not only in sourcing the asset itself into purchasing the asset, also companies that have deep relationships with the best architects and can help us that will consult for us and help us to guide us kind of along this entire journey. So right now we're kind of down to 2 companies that we're looking at to help us through the process and then also manage the golf course moving forward. That's Troon and Kemper at this point. We've spoken with pretty much everybody. Those are the ones that we're kind of talking about right now and deciding between. Once we land on one of those 2 companies, we're kind of off to the races and actually sourcing, purchasing, and then redesigning, retrofitting this golf course and this golf club into the experience that all of us are looking for. Okay, so we'll keep you updated on all of this. We have purposefully not discussed on the Discord location very much, because the location is going to be largely based on what's available and then ultimately what's going to be best for our overall membership. As we start to get further down the line on all the different opportunities that exist today, the different places that we can buy and renovate, we'll be sharing all this information with the group. We'll be very transparent around it. But ultimately, like, we're out to make this thing super special. And it's going to be very important that the community chime in on different elements about this place, the club rules, different ways that we can make this a different experience, like different types of on-course activations that lean into NFTs and Web3, like all these different things we can do. It's going to be very important to have the feedback of the community. So when we're ready to do that, obviously we'll share it with the group.
That's really, really exciting stuff, you know, and we all know it's not something that happens overnight. So, you know, we really appreciate the hard work that's going into all of that behind the scenes and, you know, figuring out all those decisions. Because I know back in December, the aspect of buying, opening, and managing one was definitely probably one of the biggest considerations that needed to be solved for. So awesome stuff there. You know, it seems like we're definitely on track, you know, despite all of that, like this team, everything else going on and the complexity, right, to, you know, have a LinksDAO golf course next year, which is just an incredible thing. It's really, really cool, and we're doing a lot of special stuff along the way as well. I want to throw another question to Mike. You know, your personal experience with, you know, building the DAO behind the scenes. How has it been? You know, I know you've got a lot of stuff going on, but how's it been for you?
Yeah, so obviously having quite a bit of fun. It's a really interesting experience. You know, I've said this in a number of venues before, you know, including to our community, but also, you know, whether it be a podcast or on Spaces and publicly. You know, today we are, you know, what I would call an air quotes DAO, right? You know, we don't have like a Wyoming DAO or a structure like that. That's, you know, basically, you know, on chain, like basically everything being on chain, legally, you know, enforceable, and you know, effectively like code is law. So that aspect of it, by the way, has always been the plan. Meaning you basically start. So the interesting thing to me is it's what, you know, we've always since the beginning known to be the only practical way that a group of folks could accomplish something with the operational complexity and coordination complexity of, you know, building an online and in real life, you know, global golf and leisure club. So basically we've said this before, but we have a corporate entity and we have a group of folks who are working full time in very specific roles to advance towards the mission and achieve the mission of operating one of the world's greatest golf and leisure clubs. And then we have the community that is effectively acting as a board of advisors, and approving, in the case of today, basically a really significant portion of our budget for this year. So so basically, I think what we're doing is really, while a purist, and sometimes I like to say that perfection comes and purity comes at the cost of progress. I think what we're doing and what excites me about LinksDAO is that we are basically, I think, bringing the best aspects of a really organized, at times sort of leadership oriented and centralized operational and execution machine, mixed with a deeply involved, committed, and empowered community that has basically helped and effectively shaped what it is that we're doing. Did it in the 3 weeks before we did the NFT drop, and has done it since we did, and since basically people chose to become future members of what's being created here, and to, as Jim said, set the club rules, determine a lot of the where and what of where this initial club will be and how it's going to look. So I think the biggest thing I've learned is that I'm really happy about this hybrid structure that we've chosen. That being said, it is absolutely not the end state, and the goal here is that, like we've seen other sort of crypto Web3 projects over time progressively decentralize, we have a real deep ambition to do that, right? And so one, as we accomplish more and establish a really effective playbook of how to basically acquire, build, open, and operate Links clubs. At some point down in the future, we could have community-driven clubs, entirely community-driven clubs under the banner. We could, over time, eventually have a legit, explicit DAO treasury that is legally controlled, by the membership in a DAO format that basically decides its priorities, its purpose priorities, objectives, and expenditures, in a sort of purely on-chain, vote-oriented fashion. So, I'm excited. I've learned a lot, and I think basically by building an open and having really candid discussions amongst hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are working on this experiment, we're learning and sharing an incredible amount of information and processes that will benefit other projects that will, many of which will choose to be significantly more, call it decentralized or purity of DAO from the start, and perhaps others that will choose to even be less so. So I think we're a hybrid right in the middle. It has its benefits, it has its drawbacks, but I think we're balancing it nicely and moving towards our goals.
Awesome. Yeah, really good points. Really exciting and unique situation and application here of these concepts. And just I've had such a great time being a part of this experiment and working with such awesome people, all of you on stage and everybody in the community. It's just been so great, and just so stoked to see this vote pass with double quorum, and all the great conversations and debates and improvements that we keep making along the way. It's really exciting stuff. Stoked. Wanted to give a shout out up here to Nick Walker. I know Jim ran down the partnerships. I know you've got the default profile picture, but Partnerships pods, Dan working on marketing, Austin on analytics. It's you guys are crushing it. And I wanted to turn it over to back to Jim. I think we have a new partnership announcement that is going to be coming out that we wanted to drop here today for all of you for sticking around and listening to this today. Jim, you want to take it over?
Coop, I'm coming in and out, bud. You can do the announcement, my friend. You can do the fireworks.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. All right. So I will drop it now. Arcos is our next partnership announcement. I'm super pumped to bring you guys this exclusive LinksDAO offer. So it's golf's first AI caddy and the game's most advanced strokes gained platform. The code to use it will be currently dropped in the member section of LinksDAO's Discord. But we're going to save 30% on the Arcos Caddy bundle. It's $90 in savings by being a LinksDAO member. So Arcos automatically tracks, analyzes your on-course data, with official partners, and has some really, really cool stuff. So really stoked to bring you guys another awesome partnership. In the meantime, while we're, working on getting the course and everything else that's associated with it, we just every day add new partnerships, and the team working on those deals is just crushing it. So I see Dan's got his hand up. Pass it over to him.
My bad. I was just pushing all the emojis in celebration. I have nothing to say. Classic Daniel. That's my only.
Should we bring up folks for questions? Coop, should we bring up folks for questions soon too?
I would love to open it up to a Q&A. That sounds fantastic. Go ahead and raise your hand if you want to pop up on stage, ask questions. Let's do it. Did I get right? No? Awesome. So we've got partnerships. Feel free to request to speak. We can bring up on stage. I don't think we're at the max. So, if you want to come up, ask questions about how things are going, the proposal, just vibe, hang out, feel free.
If Cooper's voice is so soothing that you'd rather just listen, or you're watching NCAA basketball, we also understand.
Honestly, I do really like listening to Cooper's voice, so I'm cool with where we're at right now.
Welcome up here, NFT 33.
Hey, everybody. Congrats on the partnership. That's really cool. So I have a question. The royalties, all that money, like it comes in with the volume on OpenSea. If that's beneficial, why don't we push maybe like some? I know it's not a priority for long term. You guys are holding that down. But why don't we do some guerrilla marketing to get some money? Because that's how a lot of projects are growing.
Yeah, good questions. So, our plan, our sort of funding plan for growth in the very near term is not on pushing significant secondary volume of what we call the Genesis passes. So folks who are in the membership community are aware of this, but we do have a PFP project in the works that will be, obviously golf themed, and we think will ultimately be one of the preeminent. Candidly, if I look at the landscape of what's happened over the past couple of years, outside of Top Shot, I haven't seen, and certainly in terms of like original artwork or original concepts, I haven't seen a tremendous number of high quality sports themed PFP and community projects. So that's one thing that we're going to do, and I think that that's a pure collectible, and so therefore less long term incentive to hold, perhaps different, call it quote unquote utility in that particular series, and so a different dynamic in terms of how we promote it. But for the Genesis membership passes, there's 5,300 holders. That number hasn't moved. It'd be hard for that number to move much higher, considering originally some folks bought more than one, and they really enjoy the project and they're big believers. There's not many of these listed, and we don't think that's from talking to the members because of the price, we think it's because they actually want to hold them and they believe in the experiment and are participating. So, so I don't necessarily, that's not where we're focused. But it's a good question. It's one that has come up a lot in the Clubhouse and the member chats on Discord. So one, I think the PFP is a great way to generate revenue. So that'll be and by the way, we're operating with plenty of cash right now for near term needs. So there's not any sort of like lack of funds to execute on what we need to do. In addition to that, we've been very upfront and not upfront. I mean, we've been very clear that we're raising an equity round of funding. Okay. And that's going well. But that's not something that, projects typically discuss in much more depth than that it's going well, until they're concluded. But, we've always said that because the original NFT sale did not grant, ownership of the course of the operational entity. Otherwise, it would have been a security sale, which you're not allowed to do in the United States. We are doing a sale of equity to accredited investors, and that should be wrapping up here in the next 1 to 2 months. This is something that is basically it will, in addition to the funding that we've already accrued in the treasury that we have, in addition to your point to the secondary sales, in addition to the merchandise sales that are occurring in our pro shop, we have a number of revenue sources. So the financial health picture is really good here. This comes from somebody who I've started multiple companies in my life. Jim has taken a company from zero to hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. So there's a lot of experience. We have a number of other core team members who have worked from early stage startups to growth stage. So we feel really, really good about the financial health of the project. And I think our motivations, just from a pattern matching perspective with other NFT projects, don't look the same, and therefore our tactics on how we market don't look the same.
That makes sense. Thank you, and once again, thanks for the partnership.
Thank you for coming up. All right. Is any other speakers want to come up and ask questions? Feel free to request.
I have time. I have to jump in about 2-3 minutes. So if anybody wants to ask me a question.
One last question for Mike. Somebody's got to ask it here.
Awesome. So I'll be on Discord, and we're going to do some. So basically, the biggest feedback from the community was, hey, we loved the energy, the enthusiasm, and the sharing and the discussion in the first 6 weeks of the project. Some of that, as you guys have been, as a team and a community, as we've been delivering, we've had less communication. So we'll be, getting back to better, I think probably a more regular cadence. So Mr. Senior Hill, Coop, Jim, Bez and I will be working on what that looks like, so that we can communicate more regularly. But excited to share more, and have a lovely Sunday evening.
Thanks, Mike. We really appreciate it. Caviar.eth if you have any questions.
Real quick before I sign off, everyone should join the Discord. Our link is in the LinksDAO profile. Awesome place to be.
Thank you, Daniel. That's right. I think everybody should be joining our Discord. It's the best community on Discord right now, 100%.
Absolutely.
So, Caviar, feel free to speak now.
Hey, yeah. LinksDAO member here. I've been following the project for a while. I know a while back you guys had mentioned the PFP project, and just curious, I guess, what's the push for that? And then that existing as a separate collection, is that going to be kind of within the same Discord? Like, is the same team going to manage that project? Just curious on that PFP project.
Yeah, I can speak a little bit to it. I will say that we're early, and I think a lot of the decisions that we'll make will be, visible and collaborative, and we'll need to get a lot of feedback from the community on how to get there. So I'll say that caveat first. As Mike said, like, we're looking at this as a collectible that has a lot of value. I'm using value instead of utility there specifically, but again, these are things that we just need to flesh out as we go forward. As far as the project, it'll be within LinksDAO, and I think we're really careful to ensure that that doesn't in any way sort of distract from the utility and value of what we're calling the Genesis NFTs. So that's one major principle. Like, in no way should we prop up the PFP in a way that then, you know, decreases the value of the NFTs that we all already own. As far as the Discord experience, still TBD. I think one of the things that's exciting about it is we do have sort of an opportunity to bring a lot of Web3 people via the PFP into golf. And so part of that also means potentially bringing them into our community, and what that looks like exactly is very important to get right. You know, we don't want to, you know, change necessarily the vibes that we have today in a way that would be, you know, off-putting to our existing members. But, you know, it is something that we'll have to think through very critically. I mean, we're lucky to have, in my personal opinion, the best Discord community leader in the world is Coop. And so he's involved in the PFP project very closely, and he won't let us make any decisions that harm that experience. So, you know, specifics, again, you know, what we're looking at over the course of the next couple of weeks is really thinking through, asking a lot more questions and answering them, and just making sure that we have the right thinking in place, starting to connect with, you know, we want to find the best artists in the world. As Mike said, we don't want this to be something that just kind of looks, you know, like trash. Honestly, we want this to look really premium and be something that, you know, I'm a huge fan of Fox Fam. You can see from my raccoon, like, my major principle is, you know, we want to make something that's going to force me to change my PFP. We want it to look great. We want it to be an identity that you feel really excited to display digitally. And then we have a lot of interesting ideas, and I'll sort of leave it at that, about what the value of that is, or the interactions of that PFP, you know, kind of happen over time. So again, lots of general thinking right now, but we are thinking very carefully about the interaction that it has with our existing Genesis, sort of the access to that PFP for existing holders, and then how we integrate new PFP holders into the existing community. You know, one of the surface areas of that obviously is Discord. So ask more questions if you want sort of maybe more specifics, and I can tell you what we have and what we don't, but that's the high level.
Awesome. Yeah, no, really excited about the PFP, you know, to add that to, you know, the LinksDAO ecosystem. And yes, it will be brought to you by the same all-star team that brought you the Genesis NFTs, same Discord. That's the thinking for now. And yeah, you know, plus all of the combined efforts of this incredible community team to, you know, really just crush it, home run with, you know, how we execute with the mint, you know, what the PFP means, what it looks like, and you know, how that membership, how having that NFT kind of interacts with the whole LinksDAO ecosystem, right? You know, we have an awesome community now, but hopefully we'll add some more people who are fans, and get some more golfers in general, you know, or Web3 people into golf, and golf people into Web3. So lots of fun ideas there that we're playing with, for sure. Good question.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming up, Caviar. Does anybody else have any more questions regarding any of the updates we provided today? Course, Discord, proposal, partnerships. I'm going to add Benya. Welcome to the speakers table. Just unmute your mic.
Hi guys, been following your project for a while, and just wanted to ask, with the facility, this probably was mentioned many times before, but how are you guys logistically approaching the golf course with thousands of members? Like, who is working on that? And of course, you guys mentioned the partnering up with a management group, but how are you guys thinking about, just as you grow the number of NFT holders, how that would logistically translate?
Yeah, I can take this one, guys, and then after I answer this question, I gotta hop off. So no matter where the first or Genesis club is going to be, it will be a destination type course for the majority of our NFT holders, right? So it's a good example. If you put it in North Carolina because it's a long season, and the majority, or I would say the largest majority of our members are on the Eastern Seaboard. So it's accessible for the majority of our members. It's near a major international airport, so all of our members can access it. There's a couple things that you need to accomplish. One, membership in the course itself is going to be extremely affordable because kind of our mission as we go through this process is to make this as accessible financially and geographically as we can for the majority of our members, for basically all of our members if possible. And as a result of that, the finances of the physical property are going to look different than if it's a country club, right next to your house in, outside of Los Angeles, right, in Orange County. So we will have a lot more members than other golf courses. But the average number of rounds per golfer will organically be less than a normal country club. And the trade-off will be that the experience will be significantly better, and the cost to join and be a member of this club will be significantly lower than anything you see in the general country club ecosystem today. So we've done some really good estimates based on other perspectives we've seen from other top golf clubs that have opened up more recently with a similar type model. And we feel like the number of rounds that we're estimating, it's going to be really easy to get a tee time relative to the number of members that we have. It's going to be, again, a top-notch experience and accessible to as many members as possible. But again, this isn't necessarily for most of our members, of course, because we're going to be opening one club and we have a very geographically diverse membership. This isn't going to be in the backyard for most people. But we do believe that the majority of folks that own the NFT that do join the club will be coming multiple times a year. So we've really modeled this all out based on other perspectives from other golf clubs, and then obviously talking to a lot of experts in the space.
Got it. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming up. So, Jim, thank you so much for speaking today. We learned a lot, and really appreciate your time being here.
I love speaking with this community. Like, honestly, it's like this thing has been like it's hard to describe how much fun that myself and a lot of the other core folks have had with this group of folks. Just because we're doing something special, we're doing something different, and we're doing it quickly. So we'll continue to do that, and I can't wait to talk to you guys again soon.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and to add to that note, just another benefit for Discord members, and especially for NFT holders, we will be opening up a one-on-ones scheduling block with myself, Jim, Mike, Adam, Bez, who is working on some of the more specific golf course stuff. If you have further questions, want to get 15 minutes with a founding team member and just kind of ask your ideas, talk about what's going on a one-on-one level. We are opening that up. I know some people prefer that to hopping on a space in front of lots and lots of people. So definitely excited to open that up, as well as this infrastructure within Discord and all of these new things that we're building out come to change. So plenty more opportunities to get close and get your questions answered there in Discord. Looks like Caviar has another question or requested to speak again, but we are getting close to an hour. And up there, if you have any more questions, please request to speak now. If not, we'll wrap it up after this one if there are no objections. What's up? Anybody on the speakers table now want to pop up, unmute, ask a question?
Yeah, just another question about the actual physical location. Just curious, what type of revenue opportunities do you see there? Obviously, trying to run the actual club as efficiently as possible. But how do you guys kind of see that play out in terms of what you want to do with the revenue, as well as will this club potentially be opened up to just normal local people?
These are really good questions. There's a lot of thought going on right now on what that model looks like for revenue for a club. As some of you may or may not know, golf clubs are not the easiest businesses in the world to run or be profitable, right? They're actually pretty expensive operations. So I can tell you that the first and foremost priority of this team is to provide an unbeatable experience that top 100 golf club in the world experiences. So with that being said, I think the objective obviously is for it to be profitable and have members have a really cool experience first and foremost. Secondly would be to make money, but that's a secondary objective there. Also, considering the idea of buying a golf course in an existing community, right? We don't want to just take that and turn it into the private playground for a bunch of Web3 people. Especially considering our mission to, kind of change the game and change how, golf is, make it more accessible to people in the community. We definitely want to, provide opportunities for people in the community to learn and to engage and learn to love the game of golf and reduce that access level the same way we do for members. So, definitely trying to get, schools and kids and people in the community access to those courses and to play, while also providing that top tier experience to the membership. But, one of the really special things we're trying to do is bring Web3 onto the golf course. Really cool technology integrations. There's incredible stuff happening right now. Arcos is one of them, but there's organizations out there with technology that can, track your swing data. And, how cool would it be if you step up to the first tee and just hit an absolute 300-yard bomb, and then that swing data gets minted as an NFT and airdropped into your wallet, right? So really cool, fun stuff like that we can activate, on the course. That's just one idea, as well as, activations within the clubhouse, golf and leisure, pool, tennis court, etc. It's going to be hopefully that ultimate experience that we're going to bring to the membership.
Got it. No, that makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So before we get off, do we want to run through the list of partnership updates?
Yeah, I mean, we can run through it one more time. Nick, do you have that list in front of you? You want to take the honors?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I can try to pull it up. We just talking like the full. You talking about the full rundown?
Right. Yeah, we want to do it. I can share the doc with you real quick.
If you got it in front of you, feel free.
I'm sending it to you right now. All right, hang tight. We're moving quick. Boom. Oh, no, I screwed up. There we go. All right. Should be in front of you right now, man. Let it rip.
All right. So we're going to start with I guess we're looking at the global specific memberships and benefits as far as some of these partnerships have been negotiated to provide slightly more specific discounts for globals. So for 5-iron golf, so for those of you who either have 5-iron in your market or are visiting, you get 20% discounts on rental, food and beverages, lessons, 1 free lesson a year, and then 1 month of free membership. So I'm actually about to sign up myself, I think effective April 1 here in Chicago. So I'll leading up to the season, and it's a pretty nice perk. And then also some additional 10% off fitting, 50% off your first league. So, I did that this season. I think they just invoiced me back about $700 to my card, which was awesome. And then they're also going to be doing some specific links only golf outings this year. So kind of more to come on that. I think those will be across a couple of different sites. On Shipsticks, we've got a 25% discount on Shipsticks for globals. I believe it's 20% for leisures. And one of the things we talked about earlier is we're working on trying to make sure that these are centrally located and on our website and kind of in that clubhouse experience. For right now, for Shipsticks, I think it's still just a specific URL rather than a code. So Cooper is still the go-to for those if you want to get access to those links, since we just want to ensure those aren't floating around publicly. Our friends over at Devereaux Threads gave us a 20% discount on their site, so that's a coupon code. And Minimal Golf, which makes some pretty awesome bags with, I think, some speakers and built-in charging capabilities. They're giving us free monogramming, so that was kind of our first membership drop there. For those of you who haven't been into the Pro Shop yet and check that out, please do. If you're on a budget, it's tough to show restraint. I went in there and did some damage just last week. But for those of you who might want to come in and just get a piece or two, we're having about a 35% discount for members, across different partners such as Holderness and Born. We also had some pretty good stuff from Solo Golf up there, some nice hoodie vests, which are pretty sweet. And that's going to vary from vendor to vendor as far as the pricing that we can get. But overall, when you consider the cost of embroidery and shipping, we really are doing everything we can to pass these discounts back directly to membership. I think we just yesterday passed out the fact that we have now a new launch with DraftKings. So we're going to be having a Masters pool coming up. So hopefully everyone will jump into that. And also some specific matching. I think it was $1,000 around like either like free play or use using that code. We recently launched a 20% off with Foray Golf. So their specialty is kind of in women's apparel. There is a couple items there for men, kids as well. But if you're into the female fashion side, that's definitely what you'll get there, as well as in our Pro Shop with we've got some great women's items too. We've got the Masters coming up in a couple weeks, so if you saw a photo of a baby in our Discord rocking a custom caddy outfit, that is my daughter, and I'm sure you'll be seeing some more photos coming up. So we had some Lynx specific caddy uniforms, and I think our guy Mark Sirota was also rocking around at the Honda Classic with one of those on. Also from that partnership came 25% off at My Photo. So if you need any prints, you can get basically like any type of photo printed up and sent directly to you there. And we're also going to be doing some PGA Tour book giveaways from Mark and early access to his NFT collection. So if you haven't listened to the spaces we did with Mark, I believe it's in recordings in the recordings channel in Discord.
I want to interrupt you right there.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I just pinned Mark's tweet with the PGA Vault book up at the top. Give him a follow. He's the GOAT shooter. He's in the chat, but I wanted to give him a shout out here. His tweet's up at the top. Give him a follow. He's just awesome. Great member of the community. Great guy, legend in golf, and honored to have him. Giving us the history and some of the greatest photos of all time in the game of golf and other sports. So give him a follow. It's up at the top.
Cool. So I think that's all we had mainly on the list, Coop. Anything I'm missing, or anything else you wanted to cover off? I know we're
just that, and the Arcos that we announced today. I dropped that link or code in Discord in the members chat. So make sure you pop in, check that out if you are a LinksDAO member. But really appreciate everybody's hard work so far getting to this point. So proud of this team for passing this proposal and just absolutely stoked to move on to the next chapter of growth and acquiring a golf course, PFPs. It's an exciting road ahead for LinksDAO. So grateful for all of you. That being said, Dom, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for joining the space tonight, and have a good evening, everybody.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Talk to you soon.
GN, go St. Peter's.
Thank you, guys. Night.